Hi, I'm Pio from RTINGS.com. Today, we'll be looking at the Sony X93L. This high-end 4K TV uses mini LED backlighting and it comes in the 65, 75, or 85-inch size. As the name suggests, it falls between the Sony X90L and the flagship Sony X95L. There's also a Costco exclusive variant, the X93CL, which is available in a 65 or 75-inch size. This one includes a fancier remote and has a longer warranty. So, is the X93L worth your money? In this review, we'll cover how it performs and if you should buy it. The X93L looks and feels well built. It has sleek-looking metallic feet that you can set up in a narrow or wider configuration to fit a soundbar up front. You can also adjust the feet's height so your soundbar or center speaker doesn't block the screen. No matter how you set it up, it feels very sturdy with very little wobble. Removable plastic panels on the back cover the feet and inputs, and there are basic cable clips near the inputs for cable management. The TV has 4 HDMI ports, though only ports 3 and 4 support HDMI 2.1 bandwidth for 4K 120Hz signals. Not bad, but port 3 is also the ER port, which means you'll lose one of your 2.1 inputs if you connect a receiver. That isn't ideal if you want to connect an Xbox Series X and a PS5 simultaneously. The ER port can pass through all audio formats, including Dolby and DTS formats, so you won't have to worry about connectivity issues with external sources. As far as the built-in speakers go, they're pretty good, with a well-balanced frequency response, good volume, and minimal distortion. But like most built-in TV speakers, they can't produce much bass. If you care about sound quality, you'll want to do yourself a favor and invest in a proper sound system or even a soundbar. Now, let's move on to picture quality. The TV has excellent contrast, so you'll get deep blacks and bright highlights. But its X-wide viewing angle layer does impact contrast, resulting in a worse contrast ratio than expected. It's worse, for example, than the higher-end Sony X95L and even the iSense U8K. The TV uses full-array local dimming with 420 dimming zones, about half as many as the X95L. The local dimming has a decent response time but can't quite keep up with faster objects, resulting in a darker leading edge and a brighter trailing edge. With auto local dimming enabled, the TV has excellent black uniformity. If you deactivate it, the uniformity is a bit worse and the screen looks blue because of the panel's relatively low native contrast. The blooming performance is great. There's still noticeable blooming around subtitles or bright spots in darker scenes, but it's not too bad overall. Moving on to brightness, the TV gets very bright in SDR and easily overcomes glare, so you won't have any trouble watching TV during the day. The screen's reflection handling is also excellent, though direct reflections cause some rainbow smearing, so it's probably a good idea to turn off any table lamps or direct light sources before you hit play. With HDR content, the TV gets incredibly bright. Highlights pop and HDR content looks vivid. PQ UTF tracking is fantastic as well. It's almost perfectly on target, so HDR content is mostly displayed at the intended brightness, although it tends to run a smidge on the dark side, like Anakin Skywalker. It also has an impressively wide color gamut. It covers nearly the full DCI-P3 color gamut that's used in most HDR content, with good tone mapping for a bright, accurate image. However, its coverage of the wider Rec 2020 space is just decent, and greens and blues are noticeably off. The color volume, however, is excellent. Bright, saturated colors look rich and vibrant. In SDR, the TV displays very accurate colors before any calibration. Dark blues are a bit off, but most colors are right on the money. White balance is good overall, but the color temperature runs slightly on the cooler side, giving the image a slightly blue tint. And if you calibrate the TV, you can get the color temperature, white balance, and accuracy close to perfect. Like most Sony TVs, it has incredible image processing. Powered by Sony's Cognitive Processor XR, this is one of the areas in which the X93L stands out. It does a fantastic job of upscaling low-resolution content like DVDs. Fine details are preserved well, and the image looks crisp without looking over-sharpened. It's also impressive at smoothing out content from lower quality sources like streaming apps. There are no issues with pixelization and macro blocking, with minimal loss of fine detail. We mentioned before that the X93L uses Sony's X-wide viewing angle layer, which improves the viewing angle at the expense of contrast. The image still gets washed out as you move off center, which isn't ideal for very wide sitting arrangements, but is better than most LED TVs. Let's get into how the X93L performs for gaming. We mentioned that it has two HDMI 2.1 ports, allowing 4K signals of up to 120Hz with HDR and VRR to reduce screen tearing. But it doesn't support 1440p gaming. For Xbox owners, Dolby Vision is limited to gaming at 60Hz. On the flip side, if you have a PlayStation 5, the TV offers some extra features like auto HDR tone mapping and auto genre picture mode, which automatically switches into game mode. The TV has incredibly low input lag in game mode, so gaming feels smooth and responsive. It has an excellent response time too. There's very little motion blur, though there can be a bit of black smear behind darker objects. So, should you buy this TV? If it's within your budget and you're looking for an LED TV, then yes, you'll be satisfied with the X93L. While the flagship X95L is a better TV overall, with more local dimming zones and higher contrast, it's only available in an 85-inch size in North America. This can be a big limiting factor for a lot of people. So if you prefer a 65-inch or 75-inch TV, the X93L is the best 2023 option from Sony, with fantastic processing and incredibly accurate colors. It looks great in a bright room. That said, if you can only afford the mid-range Sony X90L, that's a good value alternative. It doesn't use mini LED backlighting though, so it has more blooming and local dimming issues. It also uses a different panel coating, so reflection handling isn't as good. It still offers great image quality and processing and is cheaper than the X93L. Plus, it comes in a wider range of sizes, so it's worth considering if you want a bigger TV for less. The iSense U8K is a great, even cheaper alternative if you're on a tighter budget. It gets a bit brighter and has a higher contrast ratio, so the picture quality is excellent. The Sony has much better processing, a better viewing angle, and a faster response time. Overall, the X93L is better built and more reliable than the iSense, but the iSense offers a lot of value for budget shoppers. That covers it for the Sony X93L. If you want to learn more, check out the written review on our website, which is linked in the description below. Until next time, I'm Pio from RTINGS.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. And the screen looks blue because of the sorry. And the screen looks blue because of the We mention that we love everyone. That's how we are at Ratings. Full of love.